Hello, and welcome back to another day in the arena. Today we're on the second tier, those decks that are just not quite good enough to be top tier, but certainly worth knowing about and worth playing. This one is a Nexus of Fate, Primal Amulet, Life Gain, Aetherflux Reservoir deck. Interesting little combo deck, and it, honestly, when I first saw it, I thought it was pure jank tank material, but the more I've messed with it, the happier I've been, and the more I think it deserves a spot here in the second tier, as it's almost there. It has some tough matchups, and for some reason I never seem to have my mana right, but when it works, it sure works. Let's see what our opponent is up to. The Chrono16, another YouTuber. If you like this deck, you can see it on channels such as Super Ladman, and he calls himself Super Mad Lad on Twitter, but Ladman on YouTube, awkward. Super Ladman and Thelona, the original architect, Thelona. They both have YouTube channels. I recommend checking them out. And we'll see what you think of the deck. My build, it's come a little ways. It's got a lot of like blink of an eye, commit to memory type interaction, but really the crux of the deck are these like life-gaining cantrips to dig you through your deck quickly, find Primal Amulet, and flip Primal Amulet. Then once you've done that, going off with Nexus of Fate makes the game basically trivial. I'm going to use Supreme Will here. I'm trying to find an amulet as quickly as I can. So we'll just keep taking more Supreme Wills. Our opponent's on the slow road. They're red and green, maybe a Sarkhan's Unsealing type deck, but they haven't done much yet. And that is, of course, news to my ears, because my draw is not quite panning out just yet. We haven't found an amulet. We've played all of our lands out. It's unclear where things go from here. So here, I'm sure the fireworks will start soon. Red-green isn't just going to play land forever. Ronus. Yep, that is Ronus. But without Summoning Sickness or an Enter the Battlefield effect, it's a perfect target for a blink of an eye. See if our opponent has Blossoming Defense. Nope. And that'll keep the land coming. Like many combo-ish style decks, you do want to hit a lot of land drops. We're going to play both because I plan to use Supreme Will and Revitalize here. Countering the opponent's spells, like countering their Ronus, is not high priority. It's more of a combo deck, and because of the life gain and things like that, when your opponent's just playing big creatures, you can ignore them. So I don't feel a lot of need at all to play a Supreme Will right there, countering a spell. I do feel a great need to play a Supreme Will and try to find our combo pieces. It's interesting because we could take an Anticipate and keep looking for those amulets. We can take a Fumigate, which isn't good against Ronus or the Phoenix. The land, not so much, so Anticipate it is. We'll just keep on digging. Just thinking. This deck is a thinking deck. You have to think about how to get through your deck, then what you want to have left over when you find your amulet so that you flip it quick enough. Obviously, along the way, pick up your Nexus of Fates, because then when you resolve your amulet, you can kind of flip it very quickly by casting the Nexi themselves. All right, I start with the Revitalize. Actually, no, because I have two Anticipates. If I had one Anticipate, I would start with the Revitalize and see what I draw. But with two Anticipate, yeah. We'll grab that amulet. Now we have to decide, do we play these now or hold them? Let's see, what are we looking at taking next turn? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 14, 16, 18. We're at 19. It's unlikely our opponent can kill us next turn. Plus, they usually feel like they have to play around Settle the Wreckage, but they won't if I play the amulet. Yes, they will. They'll still have to do it if I play the amulet. Yeah, let's end the turn without playing our other spells, which may seem weird to you, but we want them in our hand so that they can work with the amulet. And we'll go boom, Primal Amulet, pass turn. Now we're trying to dodge Brontodon, an Abrade, something like that. would be frustrating. And how brave are they? Do they go into open Settle the Wreckage mana like a beast? The other tricky thing about Amulet is sometimes they don't even see that it's open Settle the Wreckage mana. But this opponent sees it. Because Amulet reduced the cost of all your instants and sorceries by 1. Alright, he's just gonna... He or she or they are just gonna power in the mana to the Steel Leaf Champion and hit us as hard as one Steel Leaf can. We'll move to that end step. We'll hit that Anticipate button and start countering up. There's a Supreme Will. That's another good one. And I think you're about to see things really happen. Alright, more Revitalize. Sounds great. Another Amulet. So, let's Revitalize. Okay, we didn't draw the land just yet, but we drew our other win con. I mentioned Aetherflux Reservoir, but I also run one of Metallurgic Summonings in the deck. Now we'll play Nexus of Fate, and it will transform the Amulet. And we'll shuffle it back in, and we'll draw. Alright. Well, we can't play Amulet and the Nexus, but we definitely want to play a Nexus, so let's just get it done. Make a blue. I'm also going to put a stop on my upkeep, and you'll see why in a second. We'll play this Nexus. It'll double clone itself. Ta-da! Opponent says nice. Okay, on upkeep, I'm going to do it again, because it increases the likelihood that I'll draw a Nexus out of my deck if they're all in the deck. Alright, so now we have, I think, 3 extra turns after this one stacked up. Ballin' out of our mind. And we'll just start cantripping through the deck. Alright, now we'll play this Primal Amulet. We'll play this Metallurgic Summons. We'll play this Tap Land. Pass the turn to ourselves. Another Amulet, you say? Sure. We'll play that. We'll add white. Play the Ritual. Triggers, 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 triggers. Triggers. Uh-oh. Draw me something that's not land, please. Fizzling out here on all land would be frustrating, but there's a commit to memory. That is not a nothing. And the memory side actually is probably the payoff here, so let's throw this at the Rekindling Phoenix, I guess. Make a 4/4, do all this stuff, play the memory side. As you see, making big monsters, the reduced cost allowing us to do all this stuff in a turn. Pass the turn to myself. Let's make a blue, and let's Supreme Will. It goes the deepest. Transform. And transform. So now cost reduction is over, but copying is on super lock. Opponent very impressed, I suppose. And each Nexus is going to make a 7/7. Now we'll go blink of an eye, we'll kick it, we'll target you. Target you. Oh my goodness. Opponent's being a total sport. Thank you for sticking it out. Yes, good game. And yep, they've seen enough. As the attacks are about to begin. And that is what we're here for. That's the party you came to see. Let's go have a look. So, the kind of core of the deck are all these life-gaining cantrips that keep you alive long enough to do your combo, and the search cards like Anticipate and Supreme Will that put your combos together. And the combo is really just Primal Amulet, play enough spells to flip it, and Nexus of Fate. Like, it's just a 2-card thing, but once it happens, it's pretty hard to lose. You saw the role that Commit to Memory played there. Another thing I've done is commit my own Nexus into second from the top when you just made 2 turns with your amulet so that you draw it again and make 2 more turns. That's really fun. We have some sweepers, 1 Nova, 1 Fumigate, 1 Settle. Seems like a fine number to me, and those 1-ofs seem to make other players, control-ish players, nervous that they can't blow up the board when they need to. But when you're looking through so much of your deck and drawing so much of your deck, not finding this is more a matter of bad luck than anything else. There should be one about every 20 cards. Do you look at 20 cards a game with this deck? You better believe that you do. Indeed. 2 Field of Ruins. Scavenger Grounds isn't a big problem or anything like that. It's more about if you get into a Search for Azcanta face-off with another control deck. When playing another control deck, it's best to just pretend you are another control deck for a nice long staring match, get a lot of land into play a lot of cantrips, and then just try to see how much respect they give Primal Amulet, or if you can sneak out a summons, or just go into Nexus of Fate zone. But keeping up on lands is the most important thing against another control deck, and all these cantrips make it more doable. Okay, let's get right back to it. I think I explained most of it. As far as cards we're not running, there's, like I said, different builds you can check out from Super Ladman and Thelona. They both have kind of their own take on it, but I really like mine, and they talk about their reasons. It's great. You really should check their channels out. I like having like the max amount of this cheap interaction meets big over the top stuff. Like the original list I was given had 4 Fumigates. There's another list that runs Gaia's Blessing. I like having Blink of an Eye. I feel it does the job just fine. I think I can keep this, but we'll see. Uh-oh. Our opponent might be off to a very fast start. Double tap land may get brutally punished. I'm such an optimist. I'm never shy away from these kind of hands, but I often should. And, yep, this is the punishment. It looks like we're going to get beaten down before too much happens on this one. So a little lesson in what not to play right there. Don't keep a hand with 2 tap lands that does nothing till turn 3 on the draw. Should I know better? Yeah, this format's fast, and I mess it up all the time. But here we are. We found another land off the top. Lucky, never punished. We get to start using life gain to try to see more cards, but we're going to have to find sweeps. And Brontodon's probably game, unless we can find, like I said, one of those sweepers that I said you should be able to find all the time. Of course, it never quite works out the way you expect. Leaving up the Llanowar Elf. Why? Alright, so now we'll pose as Settle the Wreckage. And the fun thing about posing as Settle the Wreckage with this deck is everybody respects it because it looks like a deck that would play Settle the Wreckage, and it makes your life gain keep you alive longer. Wow. Our opponent doesn't give... Play around nothing, right? That's the strategy. That's not a bad one. Play around nothing. I respect it. Alright, down to 4. Need a sweeper. Haven't found it yet. What to take, though? There's nothing for 3 mana that keeps me alive, which means taking the Anticipate doesn't do me any good. It has to come off the top. If it does come off the top, like, what's my next play? Probably the Amulet. We are going to need it. All right, here we go. Didn't get there. We can continue to pose, and maybe our opponent will chicken out, but seeing as they didn't chicken out last turn, I don't think they will this turn. As long as they attack with multiple stuffs, yeah, it's no problem. We'll see what our top cards would have been if we would have found that sweeper. But not having a play on turn 2, I think, kept us from being 3 to 4 cards deeper in our deck. If the sweeper is there, then I lost because of my hand. Yeah, it's not there, so, you know. Not meant to win this one. not meant to have that one. It's okay. Try not to panic. You can try 4 Fumigates if you want. I found it very detrimental to the control matchups. I absolutely hated having a hand of 5 mana sweepers against decks that are way too efficient for Fumigate. And call it controversial, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Fumigate is not great in the current meta. Too many things have to be exiled. Too many things aren't creatures, like vehicles. Too many things aren't hit by Fumigate. And those green decks, quite honestly, those are the matchups you want. We just didn't have the draw we needed. Not close. Like, you're usually very happy to play that matchup. And kudos to our opponent for absolutely not giving a poop about a Settle the Wreckage and going all in anyway. I love it. That's the way almost nobody plays it, but the way probably everyone should. Alright. Looks like we're up against the Artifact aggro. This time, Cleansing Nova decided to show up right from the get-go. Where were you before, Cleansing Nova? Opponent having no problem getting aggressive here. And our draw is a bit of a clunker. We're going to have to hit lands. So far, the 3. We're going to have to hit probably at least 3 or 4 more in a row for each turn, which is a little daunting. It's a little scary. If we find another blue, Blink of an Eye comes on. That's a good thing. Our opponent with no lack of scraps. Goodness gracious. Me oh my. So we could Field of Ruin, fix our mana that way, and then any land off the top is good, but I don't think that's a good use of the mana. I think we need to use the Supreme Will. Alright. Look at him go. Plus, just getting to pose like we have a Settle next turn, it always gets him. It always shakes him up a bit. And then it makes Blink of an Eye a lot better. So let's play that. Pass turn. Start the Settle Stare Down. It's one of the reasons you don't have to run that many of them. But we'll see. Maybe this opponent will take the same approach as our last opponent and really not care. Oh my god. Twice in a row. Am I streaming and I don't know it? I would have said sniper confirmed. But nope. Not today. Alright. But like I said, it's the way people should play. It's just I've never had, in all my time playing Settle the Wreckage, I've never seen people refuse to play around it like this 2 games in a row with hyper-aggressive draws. It's amazing. It's blowing my mind right now. Alright, the Summons is here. But we don't have time to play it. Same with the Reservoir. Both are win cons that are just kind of stuck here. So let's destroy all creatures. What we want off the top is an amulet, really, but I'd settle for a land. A land would be Reservoir into Revitalize, which would start the life gain trip again. It wasn't specific enough. I needed an untapped land. So now my opponent could Lightning Strike me. They can get these out of the graveyard. I could go 1, 2, blow that up and have 3. I guess that's good. But they'll just go get a black mana and get their Scrounger back now, won't they? If they have a swamp in their deck. It would be very bold to go for the summons and hope my opponent couldn't Lightning Strike me to death, so I can't do it. Can't bring myself to do that. So we'll Ritual of Rejuvenation this turn. There's another black source. I'm going to do this now before the damage hits. That way the opponent can't reply to it like at an end step with a Lightning Strike. My turn. Then I will go again, thank you. Opponent's on the get back scrap heap Scrounger plan, I guess. Alright. So now we're at 10. They bring one of these back. They can attack me to 4. The Hazoret, I don't think, can get me. So I'm trying to figure out if I can tap out for a reservoir or a summons. I think I can. It's pretty risky. I guess it's very, but being at 10, I feel like it's possible. The other thing is I could play Reservoir, but I don't know when or how I pay all that off. What if I just commit one of the things, go to 7? The frustrating part here is I can only play one card this turn, just one. But if I get summons out and I draw a land, and I start Nexus of Fating and making 7/7s, that should be good enough to win the game eventually. So this is the bold play, I suppose, and I'll go for it. I'll be bold. My opponents are attacking into Settle like it isn't a card, so I can be a little bold too. Yeah, an untapped land off the top, 3 turns in a row, making a 7/7 each time. That's just game. Here comes the Scrounger. All right, you got it. Can you kill me? Show me what you got. Okay.
When people start screaming, I know I'm on track.
If we don't draw the land, what we're probably going to have to do is Supreme Will into the land and commit the Chandra and hope that our opponent doesn't have Unlicensed Disintegration, although I'm sure they do.
You're going down.
Oh, okay. What's 2 red going to do? Instead of 2 damage, weird. Lightning Strike. Put me to 1? Yeah. My opponent found the line to put me to 1, but we found the land. Good game. Nothing like getting lucky. Game over. Just like that. Holy cow. I bet they didn't see that one coming. But that's why I like the summons. Compared to several other things. Teferi was in this deck multiple times, and I really did like it for all the control matchups, and I really did hate it for all the aggro matchups. And yeah, that's about it. But summons in both, it's like if it resolves against Grixis, they usually don't have anything they can do about it. If it resolves against black anything, they don't have anything they can do about it, and it just becomes this killer value machine that nobody seems prepared for. Fumigate, where you been hiding? So we're on the draw with 2 landers. I really think there's something wrong with this game for the number of times I just never draw a 3rd land. Will this be another one of those times? We got an Angel. I think I'll just let that be for now. Alright, well, now I'll do it, because if I don't, I have to discard anyway. Yep, good game. Nothing quite rubs me the wrong way these days, but that happens to me every day. So, can you mulligan those hands? It's hard to remember how many times I've kept those 2 landers and made it and been fine, because all I can think of is that every single day of my life, at some point, I keep what looks like a reasonable hand and never get there. So should you keep them or should you mulligan them? The honest truth is I can't bring myself to mulligan them that often. I get too attached to the value, I guess. I don't know. But it looks like it should be fine. And not fine. Not fine at all. Alright, more black-red. Just another day in the arena. Glint-Sleeve Siphoner here to stomp on you. That's actually not a standard like black-red thing, but there you go. Should I have kept this hand? I think I'm just on a bad roll with keeps today. It's almost like I'm not even thinking about my opener very much. That ain't cool. That's bad behavior. Alright. So he's going to play that. I'm going to bounce this so he doesn't get the energy from attacking with it. There's going to be some kind of a black-red energy aggro. Now you can just play it again next turn. I think I'll just blow this up. Let's find out. Let's find out right now if this is the type of player who runs a basic swamp. It would be really funny if they did not. Ah, they do. Okay. It was worth a shot. Come on. It's like maybe a 1% of the time I totally get them with that play. And we're out of energy, so what am I going to do? Jam an amulet? I guess so. Hope it sticks. No cantrips. Gonna need those. Glentsleeve, Hellion. You'd think those two would have been married at some point in Standard, but I really don't know if I've ever seen them supporting each other like this. Ever. So we can go up to 10, our opponent can knock us to 8. Knock us to 2. Living on the edge. They might just have a burn spell, or another Hellion. That's life. Living on the edge. Just gotta go for it. Alright, see if they got it. Down to 2. Are they having mana issues too? Or do they have something else to play? Are they slow rolling? Oh, it's Siphoner number 3. This deck is ridiculous. Alright. There's another Nexus. What are we looking at for counters? It's just 1 and 1, isn't it? It's going to be really hard to flip these. We have to get a turn out of this somehow. And again, a settle would do it, but I think I just have to do these. I think I have to play these and see if I can just go on Nexus, like, sound off here. Oh, we could try to draw land with this Ritual. What are we at, 3? But I think just playing another Nexus is the right play. Just get it closer. There's an Anticipate. But if I found a Nexus, I could do it. Because, no, I couldn't. Because I wouldn't have enough mana anymore. Without the cost reduction, you can't. Life's full of tough choices, isn't it? So I think if I clone this Ritual a bunch of times after flipping with this Anticipate, that's a good idea. But I only have the 1 blue. What will I have after that? 6? So that's enough to Ritual and blink. But we could, like, commit to flip it, which actually affects the board. I could also, before I flip it, I could cast 2 spells on the reduced cost. So let's try. I could also just clone up these commits and play the Ritual. Actually, I think that's a good play. Sorry, it's a tough one. Revitalize. It's pretty good too. So now this is triple commit. I do want to pose that I have a settle. So I'll pass turn. I don't need to revitalize right now, although I haven't hit my land drop. That could be a good reason to do it. It's a tough spot. It's a tough spot. Yeah, I'm going to. Okay, it didn't hit. All right, pass that turn. The one thing I'm thinking today needs work is maybe this deck is a 26 land deck. I'm kind of blown away by the struggles. I mean, yeah, I want to cast 7 drops. I just haven't had that much trouble with it until now. All right, so we want to do this now with this on the stack. We don't want to enter the battlefield and give that energy. So we're going to target this on the stack. And target this on the battlefield. And we're going to target this on the battlefield. Our opponent's got this nice little pile in there. Okay. Now I think it's time for Aetherflux Reservoir to come out. Let's make a white and a blue and play this Revitalize. It doesn't double trigger the reservoir to copy a card, but it does just kind of begin the parade to the top. And we'll make blue out of you. Alright, I'm taking these lands now. Although I guess I could have taken a tapped one, and I'll take a Supreme Will. So I'm set for next turn. I guess I couldn't have taken a tapped one. I forgot I did play a land this turn, right at the start. Sharpen up, CGB. What's the matter with you today? But we're sitting in a better spot every day. Our opponent they drew their Hellion again, so they get to slam right back into us with Glint Sleeves and Hellions, which is apparently their whole deck. I didn't know that you could play like 20 Glint Sleeves, 20 Hellions, and 20 land. But it appears that that's the route our opponent's taken. Let's go with a blue. Let's copy up a Supreme Will and dig into the deck. Another Anticipate. There's a Fumigate. And a Nexus, though. Nexus is just game over if I make it another turn, and I'm confident I can. Having a Blink of an Eye that I can clone, and another Blink I can cast. So I guess we want to do this all on our turn because of the way that Reservoir is designed. Bounce them. Bounce them all. And now, again, we want to do it now just because of the way Reservoir is. I think I'll just blink this last one. Just to make sure I live. Like, let's just be absolutely sure that we stay alive. If we could live, we shouldn't be able to lose anymore. Should be over. Part of that commit evilness is we just never let our opponent have a shot at a 4th land. I'm still wondering what else could be in their deck. Black-red energy, Hellions and Siphoners. Match made in heaven. Maybe we'll get an idea from this discard step. They do have too many cards. Inferno Hellion. If you're going to have a theme, take it to the limit. All right, let's do it right. Triple Nexus of Fate, all the turns. Then let's go looking for another one to do it again and again and again. And our opponent will see no more. They don't want to see what happens with 3 turns, 2 Primal Wellsprings, and an Aetherflux Reservoir. We have a Memory in the graveyard. Running out of gas is so unlikely. I can't blame them for that scoop. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this 2nd tier video. It's certainly a funner way to play Nexus of Fate than Fog. I don't know why. I find it just more challenging and more exciting to go off this way than with Teferi. It is probably not better than Fog and Teferi, truth be told. But maybe you can add the final tweaks and push this into the top tier. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.